Good afternoon and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. Today we are joined by Doug Watson, General Manager, Operations at TriMedics, and Lindsay Price, Manager, Product Management at TriMedics. Now, Webinar Wednesday would like to thank today's sponsor, TriMedics. As an industry-leading independent clinical asset management company, TriMedics helps healthcare providers transform their clinical assets into strategic tools, driving reductions in operational expenses, optimizing clinical asset capital spend, maximizing resources for patient care, and delivering improved safety and protection. So for more information, please visit trimedics.com. Okay, today's webinar, as usual, is eligible for 1 CE credit from the ACI, and you can obtain your CE certificate by completing the post-webinar survey, which will be emailed 1 hour after the completion of today's webinar. You must complete the survey to receive your 1 CE credit, and you'll be able to download the certificate directly from your computer once the survey is submitted. If you have any questions, you can reach us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. Now, just a quick reminder about our Spring MD Expo. We're heading to the Hilton Baltimore Inn at Harbor Hotel in Maryland next month, so that's April 7th to 9th. So please join us for 3 days of education, networking, and of course the latest advances in medical technology products and services. For more details and registration details, please visit mdexposhow.com. Now let's kick off today's webinar by giving away a Swiss Force Meister multi-tool. So using the questions feature on your dashboard, let me know the answer to the following trivia question. Today is National Spinach Day. So what is the name of the cartoon character who loves to eat spinach? I'll reveal the answer and our winner at the end of the webinar. We'll be wrapping up today's presentation with a live Q&A, so please submit your questions anytime using the questions feature on your dashboard. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our presenters today are Doug Watson and Lindsay Price. So Doug, you may begin whenever you're ready.
All right, well, thank you so much for that introduction, and welcome everyone. Really glad to be with you this afternoon and look forward to spending a little bit of time with you. Lindsay and I both do. So I am a general manager of operations for TriMedics, and my primary territory is located in the South, which is comprised of Virginia, basically down the eastern seaboard to Florida. And I like to throw in that I'm responsible for operations on the Cayman Islands, but I don't get to go there as often as I would like. I have been in the biomedical engineering field for 36 years now, a little bit over 36 years. And I started my career in the Army straight out of high school. And I have been with TriMedics for over 20 years now, and have really enjoyed my my time here at TriMedics. If you don't mind, can I just reminisce for a moment? Who else remembers out there when our medical device documentation was handwritten on paper? I remember. And also, what about all the rows of file cabinets that we had to, shove into our biomed departments? I think all of you out there probably have seen those biomed shops with the file cabinets in them full of handwritten and printed out documents of field service reports and work orders. Then there was a transition to computerized documentation, which was a lot nicer than having to handwrite everything, but still a bit cumbersome, as you know. I can hardly believe where we are in this industry now, that we are seeing and using tools to make our jobs and our technicians' jobs, frankly, a lot easier. I'm looking forward to spending the next 45 minutes or so going through some of that new technology that's already being utilized, and what maybe some of the future opportunities will be as we continue. But first, I want to introduce you and let you meet my partner, Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm Lindsay Price. I'm a product manager here at TriMedics. I've been with TriMedics for about 6 years, but I've been in the product management space for greater than 12 there. And apparently a timed light here in the office that I'm reporting out of. Sorry about that. But one of the things that I like to do is building off of what you said, Doug, right? We're here in the product space to understand how people work, understand the challenges that are in front of them, in particular for our biomedical technicians, and really look at what we have available today to how can we improve that? How can we take some of the just burdens of the job and remove that from the technician in having to do that, right? So we're really always looking to understand what problems we're facing out in the field and see how we can evolve technology to better serve clinicians. With that today, we're going to talk about 3 key objectives. So one, we'll talk about how, AI and automation are really helping to evolve the biomedical technician workspace, right? How can we use it to become more efficient, productive, make sure that our data entry is accurate, and really help improve our job satisfaction. We're going to unpack a little bit about how predictive work technology can also empower biomedical technicians to become more proactive instead of being reactive, and make sure that we're able to help solve problems before they even happen. And then lastly, we'll take a look at how the biomedical technician's role is really evolving to adapt and work alongside some of these intelligent tools. So in no way is it something that's going to be replacing what we do, but really kind of working to empower us to focus on the things that matter most, right? And not spend our time just in pure documentation and all of that. But before we get started here, I'm going to hand it back to Doug just to unpack who we are as TriMedics a little bit as well.
All right. Well, and like Lindsay said, in the next couple of slides, I want to introduce TriMedics to you. I want to talk about who we are, what we do. Some of you may already are familiar with our organization, but we'll just give you a little bit of a look at what we do. But healthcare technologies management is no longer your grandpa's biomed program. And I think all of you can relate to that. Things have changed. We've completely evolved from a break-fix industry, and now we're an absolute necessity to healthcare and, more importantly, to patient care. TriMedics is a comprehensive clinical asset management company with over 25 years of experience in managing medical devices and developing healthcare technology. We are built by providers for providers, starting out in the basement of a hospital biomedical department and growing into a national independent services organization, managing over 6 million clinical assets across more than 6,000 sites of care. Not only does TriMedics offer clinical engineering services, but we also provide clinical asset management and medical device cybersecurity. We strive to help health systems drive financial savings, provide risk reduction, operational improvement, patient safety, and provider satisfaction. As I mentioned, let's go to the next slide, Lindsay. On the previous slide, I mentioned with over 25 years of experience, we've built a foundation that spans more than 6,000 healthcare sites across the country. That experience in the industry gives us unparalleled visibility into device performance and operational trends. I personally believe that we likely have one of the largest repositories of equipment maintenance histories in the industry. And our database now holds over 6.6 million medical device records that encompasses 90 to 95% of medical devices in the United States. So if a hospital system that we work with has a unique medical device, it's likely that we've already seen it and have some maintenance history on it. This data history enables our predictive analytics that drive smarter decisions and reduces risk. Behind this capability and technology is a team of more than 3,500 on-site clinical engineering technicians and support experts. Every one of them are trained in cybersecurity to ensure patient safety and data integrity. Likewise, we have invested over $250 million in data-driven technologies because we know that innovation is the key to improving productivity and maximizing equipment uptime. Whether it's a 22-bed critical access hospital or a 20,000-bed health system, we deliver consistent, measurable outcomes. Now, Lindsay's going to talk a little bit about AI in healthcare.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So, how can AI and automation really transform healthcare, right? AI has been in the news a lot lately, and it's already making a really big impact in healthcare. We're seeing it improve productivity and operations through predictive patient scheduling, being able to automate EHR documentation, which helps save time, and also get predictive with staffing models based off of patient trends. All of that is kind of driving cost savings and revenue optimization as well. We're able to do that through analyzing equipment utilization trends, taking a look at automating supply chain and forecasting that, as well as automating claims processing and revenue cycle management. That really helps drive better patient outcomes as well. So using AI imaging analysis, that can now detect stroke, cancer, cardiac issues, and help predict a lot of those patient outcomes to drive early intervention and personalize some of those treatment recommendations for patients as well. All of that really enhances the overall patient safety, right? So having clinical decision support systems really helps avoid medication errors or contraindications that might occur without that additional oversight as well. AI infection surveillance and predictive equipment failure detection are a couple of other areas that are rapidly evolving there. And later in the presentation here, we'll talk a little bit more about what we as TriMedics are doing around predictive equipment failure as well, which is pretty cool predictive work system technology that we have. Through all of that, we're enhancing our data accuracy and the analysis, right? So we're able to use natural language processing to capture really structured data from those transcriptions, identify errors or gaps in some of the patient records, and do automatic historical analysis to identify ways that clinicians can improve patient treatment plans that they have out there. A lot of that is really increasing the provider satisfaction, right? The voice transcription helps them save time on a lot of the tedious documentation. Automations reduce administrative burden. Predictive analytics avoid resource and staffing shortages. A really interesting publication by Harvard School for Public Health actually estimated that when implemented correctly, AI can improve health outcomes by up to 40% and reduce treatment costs by up to 50% through improved diagnosis, increasing access to care, and enabling precision medicine, which is pretty exciting, honestly. As we really move from just the broader healthcare space and focus in on what's next for how do we incorporate this into healthcare technology management? AI in the medical device management space helps health systems transform how patient care is delivered as well. We're seeing that shift from being reactive to predictive with our maintenance. Automating those administrative tasks really allows our biomedical teams to focus on higher value work. Predictive failure technology can maximize the uptime for the critical devices, while advanced analytics really drive the cost savings and protect revenue. As we see cybersecurity threats grow, being able to proactively detect issues early can help us also maintain patient safety and operational workflows. So these changes aren't just incremental, right? They represent a fundamental transformation towards smarter, more connected ecosystems where technology anticipates needs and supports clinicians and biomedicals seamlessly. So to further support the facts from the previous slide, there was actually another study done, really field services benchmark report published in 2025 by Acquaint, which is an enterprise AI platform that uses machine learning to really learn an enterprise's unique language and maximize equipment uptime. Data was collected across 157 different service organizations, including manufacturers and third-party service organizations across manufacturing, medical devices, and several other industries as well. Service organizations using AI actually experienced a 39% improvement in issue resolution, and it saw a 21% increase in accuracy. So what does that really mean, right? Faster resolution, reduced customer downtime, and fewer errors, all critical to meeting those service demands that we have out there as well. Next, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how TriMedics is specifically incorporating the power of AI into healthcare technology management. As I mentioned, the real opportunity isn't just automation. It's freeing skilled technicians to focus on what truly matters, which is patient safety and operational reliability. Routine maintenance, administrative planning and coordination tasks, such as documentation, inventory validation, and parts logistics, consume valuable time and really introduce risk, right? The risk of human error, of data entry going wrong. Leveraging automation and the voice-to-text transcription can really help simplify some of our complex workflows, improve that data accuracy, and support regulatory compliance all in one fell swoop. As we take a look at generative AI and machine learning and what that can do, really automating some of the routine tasks that we face as biomedical technicians, like device safety testing, PM checklists, repair documentation, frees up the clinical engineering technicians to focus on hands-on device work, as well as clinical collaboration and complex problem solving. Really, better use of the biomedical technician's time than just pure data entry. So beyond, the task automation, dynamic data analysis from RTLS systems, as well as risk scoring, really helps to also enable smarter workflow optimization, while predictive models can help forecast labor needs and device availability trends. And AI can not only just drive productivity, but it also can help us build resilient, data-driven infrastructure that really supports that service excellence, helps us reduce our downtime, and ensures clinicians have tools, that they need when they need them. So pretty interesting things that we have already seen it to begin to do in this space. But now I'm going to hand it back to Doug just to dive a little deeper on how we are automating some of those manual technician tasks that I mentioned.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay. And it's exciting to talk about because, we've been on the back end of technology for a very long time, it feels like. Obviously, the medical devices have advanced, but we as a industry have not advanced with that. And so it's really exciting to start talking about how we can make our jobs and our biomeds technicians' jobs more efficient and easier to deal with. Remember what I mentioned at the beginning, how we as technicians had to handwrite all of our results of our testing. It was such a manual burden. Frankly, it was the worst part of my job as I was coming up in the industry, and I truly hated it. And even now, this generation of biomed technicians don't really like documenting their work, and I think all of you can agree with that. Even through a keyboard, it's sometimes difficult to get technicians to document their work appropriately. Well, now, with AI, it's giving more time back to the skilled technicians, like Lindsay mentioned, so that they can focus on what really matters. That's patient safety and operational reliability, and really put their hands back on the equipment as opposed to documenting everything. Not to say we're not going to be documenting everything, but we've got now automation that's going to help us with that documentation. So those manual tasks like electrical safety checks, infusion pump testing, even the regular data entry for other tests that we're having to document in work orders, all of that can now be enhanced by using that equipment that can connect to the CMMS program, and will pre-populate the work orders with the test parameters that it received. That's one way. The other is, as Lindsay mentioned, the voice-to-text transcription. I really think this one in particular is going to be one that our technicians out there will be able to adopt probably more quickly. And if we put the right parameters around it, it will document everything in the work order in the right slots where it belongs, so that we can still meet regulatory compliance. Both of these examples will simplify otherwise complex workflows, improve data accuracy, and support regulatory compliance, as I mentioned. We've found that there are 53% fewer internal audit findings and that there's a 23% boost in technician productivity. Again, I want to say clearly, AI is not replacing expertise, it's simply amplifying it in creating a smarter workflow where technology handles the repetitive work so people can deliver higher value. In addition to the technician workflows and efficiencies, AI supports supply chain to also help our BMETs be more efficient and more productive. Supply chain resilience in healthcare isn't just about cost control. It's about ensuring continued quality of care. AI and automation allows us to move beyond a reactive process to a predictive.
Sorry, the slide went way forward there. I got back to supply chain for you, Doug.
You got it. Thank you, Lindsay. As I was saying, by analyzing, so AI in supply chain can also help us analyze part availability, part compatibility, and of course, the cost of that part. And this tool will allow us to recommend the optimal repair solution almost instantaneously for the technicians to be able to act. Likewise, automating service reports and invoice reviews. And I know that you all are having to do this as you get FSRs in and invoices in, you're having to match those up. Well, AI automation can now do that for us, and it helps us reduce that manual entry and those errors that can occur, while also forecasting part needs based on device performance, which then helps prevent delays before they even occur. And finally, auto-generating purchase orders closes the loop, accelerating turnaround times. These capabilities don't just cut spend by 15% and reduce manual work by 50%, but they create a more agile, responsive supply chain that supports our teams when it matters most. So now let's talk a little bit about how we can truly prevent failures before they happen. And I know that sounds a little bit strange maybe to some of you, but something that I love that we at TriMedics have done and have developed recently is our predictive work order system or work system. We call it PWS. This helps us improve device availability and patient safety by reducing unplanned downtime, minimizing patient rescheduling, avoiding revenue loss, and improving clinician satisfaction. The system detects potential failures and automatically generates a smart work order that includes repair actions along with relevant likely part failures, service manuals, and regional support contact information. Now, this is, in my opinion, this is groundbreaking because it really does put all of the tools into the technician's hands to be able to act proactively when there's a problem with the equipment. So what it does, I'll give you an example. One of our workflows can detect tube spits on CT machines. So if it detects that failure on a CT tube before it completely goes down, and you know when it's down, it's down. But tube spits, they can still sometimes see patients. Once that is detected, it will generate a smart work order for the technicians, and that is when the technician can go to the radiology department manager and proactively schedule downtime on that device so that they can replace the tube at a time when they're not seeing patients, whether that be after hours or on the weekend. And this absolutely helps our customers eliminate revenue loss and patient dissatisfaction, as you can see on some of the figures there on the slide. So it's truly, in my opinion, groundbreaking and gives our technicians a great tool to be able to react to equipment failures or pre-equipment failures, if you will. Lindsay?
Yeah, you know, and one of the things I just want to add here before we move on to the next one is a lot of the keys to our system here are event detector algorithms, right? So remote device monitoring, data science, and that automated smart work orders that Doug was talking about being generated so that we can schedule it at a convenient time. It is a really, really fascinating tool that we've been able to build here to become more predictive, right, versus that reactive. Another area that we're really excited about is utilization, right? So healthcare executives increasingly are focused on that operational efficiency and patient care outcomes, as we always should be, right? But one of the most overlooked opportunities lies in how organizations manage and utilize their clinical assets. Next generation real-time location systems, or RTLS systems, powered by AI, are transforming this landscape. Our GeoSense solution in this space, it's been game-changing for us. You know, by integrating the location data into the broader technology ecosystems, health systems can reduce device search times by up to 50% on their end, but we can also reduce device search times by 50% for biomed teams as well. And on average, we spend both sides of the house here about an hour per shift just searching for equipment, right? We can take that, and then we also use it to optimize technician workflows and ensure that high-risk devices are available precisely when they're needed as well. The RTLS system also supports loss prevention, enables tracking of rental devices, and predicts equipment demand based on usage patterns. You heard me talk a little bit about the loss prevention there. One of the most common use cases that we see is, or examples that we get, I should say, is telemetry devices being wrapped up in your linens and out the chute they go and never to be seen again. So this kind of technology can help us really make sure that we have that full perspective of where equipment is. Some of the key features for this solution is we do have a bidirectional data integration to our proprietary CMMS RSQ, which enables our CE teams to not only manage the inventory, but also the system infrastructure and the actual RTLS tag health. All of that is then used to streamline technician workflows based off of the current device locations. We can additionally set up custom alerting and notification to monitor high-risk devices and prevent the costly loss there of high-cost equipment. And we can track and make it visible rental devices as they're coming in, monitoring their utilization and seeing if they're in patient care areas to make sure that we can get equipment out as soon as it's not being used anymore and ensure we have those timely returns for rental devices. We have tools provided both internally in our CMMS, like I talked about, but also clinician-facing tools, like you'll see on the left side of your screen here, really provide that single pane of glass to device location and reduces that search time. The ability to predict equipment demand based off of those location patterns and utilization monitoring is a really another key feature that we have.
Hey, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Can I go off script for just a second?
Please.
I wanted to also double click on the inventory aspect of the connectivity between RTLS and our CMMS program, RSQ. Most people on this call will also agree that our customers and more importantly, the leaders of the hospitals we service are always concerned about their inventory. And one of the things that we use this RTLS connectivity to RSQ for is to be able to reassure our customers that all of the devices that they expect to be in their facilities are actually in their facilities. And then when there's devices that are not there, you have a very quick, as you mentioned, one pane of glass to look at to see whether or not that inventory is actually there. And you can eliminate that from their inventory, which is also another regulatory compliance opportunity because we have to keep a good inventory of all the medical devices in the hospital. So one of the things I just wanted to double click on, and I appreciate you letting me throw that in there.
Oh yeah, building on that just a little bit too, constant feedback we get is even within a health system, making sure that equipment stays at the facility that it owns
That's right.
it, right? You know, it hops on that ambulance and it'll move on and get shuffled around. And this allows us to be able to see that across sites and get equipment returned to the appropriate areas so that we're not seeing a patient surge and don't have equipment available. And we're not able to locate it and quickly get it back, right? And so that's critical to make sure that clinicians are able to provide that patient care. You know, a couple other small things here. You'll notice our device tag right there in the middle of the screen. We've really worked to make the system easy to install. It fits and withstands medical equipment use and cleaning procedures, but in addition to that, it's very easy for us to get an install. We're not installing it on any hospital networks. It's a super rapid and lightweight installation, which have been critical for us to rapidly deploy and scale an RTLS solution. Just to summarize this a little bit, you know, we really see AI-powered RTLS delivering measurable efficiency by minimizing that clinician search time and enabling BMETs to work more proactively and effectively because we now know where equipment is. Our could not locate, our CNL numbers drop way down, and we're not spending too much time just going and hunting for a device to do the PM. So it's been really great to see out in all of our operations. Next up here, I just like to highlight how AI and automation will be used kind of going forward in the future of HTM, right? We're at the threshold of a new era where artificial intelligence is poised to fundamentally reshape healthcare technology management. And the horizon is rich with possibilities here. As you can see, just starting with ambient AI, right? We can use it to fully automate and structure the documentation. Those ambient listening tools can capture clinician-patient conversations in real time, automatically generating structured clinician notes and summaries, which reduces that administrative burden, improves the data accuracy, and allows clinicians to focus on more patient care rather than paperwork. Ambient AI can also be used by BMET technicians to automatically capture, transcribe, and structure service notes during equipment inspections, calibrations, repairs, and it helps us create that accurate real-time maintenance record, reducing manual data entry and improving regulatory and audit readiness. Kind of throwing it back to your example, Doug, what a far way we've come from writing it down on a sheet of paper to typing it in now to just having AI watch us work, listen to us work, and capture it on our behalf, and really reducing any risk of errors there.
It's amazing.
And then taking that a step further, you know, autonomous troubleshooting and equipment repairs. So AI-enabled diagnostics can continuously monitor medical device performance, detect anomalies, and suggest or initiate corrective actions before failures occur. Systems can autonomously perform firmware resets, recalibrations, or route smart repair tasks to the right technician with those predictive insights, very much in line with our predictive work system or PWS system that we have. Throwing back to the CT spits the example that you had. Even more exciting maybe is how we see this evolving training and technician support. So AI-driven virtual reality simulations can actually immerse a biomedical equipment tech into a realistic repair scenario, accelerating that hands-on learning without equipment downtime, right? And then during real repairs, we can actually use AR and VR tools integrated with AI to provide step-by-step guidance, remote expert guidance, and instantly detect errors. So all of that really is geared towards how do we see it continuing to improve BMETs, but there's also a big impact to clinical staff and patient flow optimization. AI analyzes real-time data from EHRs, RTLS, and admission systems to predict patient surges, help optimize the staff assignment, and minimize those bottlenecks. So that leads to smoother patient transitions, reduced wait times, and improved OR and bed utilization as well. And from the BMET side, can help us understand when equipment will be available for service as well. Last on the screen here, just touching on patient revenue optimization and predictive device utilization as well. So AI models can forecast that demand, identify underutilized or high revenue potential medical devices, and therefore enable smarter scheduling and deployment. So by aligning equipment availability with high value procedures, hospitals can really increase their throughput and maximize the patient revenue potential. These innovations, they're not just incremental improvements. They really represent a paradigm shift. The organizations that embrace this future will be able to anticipate needs, respond proactively, and deliver care with unprecedented efficiency and precision. The challenge in front of us now, and particularly for healthcare leaders, is really to foster a culture of an intentional innovation, where technology isn't adopted just for the sake of adopting it and it's the new shiny thing, right? We want it to solve real problems and create lasting value for patients, providers, and the broader health system. So leading the way in an AI-driven transformation, healthcare leaders can position their organizations to thrive in a rapidly evolving landscape, really setting new standards for quality, safety, and operational excellence. I'll hand it back to you, Doug.
All right. Well, listen, I know that every one of you on this call are listening intently to every word that Lindsay and I are speaking. And truly, it's actually very easy for us to read our notes on each slide to explain how AI technology is changing the industry. But I think it would be more impactful if you heard from a real technician that's out in the field, that's using these tools each and every day, explain to you how he and others are benefiting from these tools in their everyday lives. So if you'll indulge us, we'd like to share this video with you.
The most helpful technology I use throughout my day is actually my phone, but more specifically the software on my phone. The CMMS, the management system we use to maintain our work orders and write down notes and do.
Pause there.
Tests. If I can use it anywhere. I just have to have my ID. I can log in. I can order parts. I can sync up my phone with my test equipment to do automatic testing. So everything is my phone is very mobile and very useful with the right software. Every now and then, our backend team develops some new uses for AI. Most notably, recently, we can now dictate simple sentences to our phones, and AI will expand and make a more complete paragraph of what we've done. It's quite handy for when you're on the go and you just need to quickly, instead of having to writing down what little notes you have and then going back to your computer or whatever to finish your thoughts out and document everything. You can simply speak right into the notes, have AI expand them, and it'll automatically attach them to a work order. So it keeps it nice and simple.
The way I see AI is it is not somebody that does a job for you. It is a tool. I have the naked models or just the modality type. I can have it simulate a service call for a PM, and it understands the concepts of those devices. It can actually create a very effective troubleshooting simulation. We take service manuals, you put the file into the chat, and then you start troubleshooting with it and say, utilize this chat, we utilize this document to help you troubleshoot. It reads it, it breaks down the manual where you can find, the pressure points. You need to find a part, you can find exactly what you need and the page to turn to.
Most innovative piece of technology I currently use is my automatic safety analyzer. Every piece of equipment that can plug into a wall basically needs an electrical safety test, and it is completely automated. I push a button, it conducts all the tests. I can see it on the screen, but I don't need to write down a thing. It will send me an email. It will connect to an app on my phone and give me a PDF that way. It's quick, easy, and it takes out a very monotonous part of my day. Anytime I have to check in new equipment, do preventative maintenance, I need an electrical safety test, and my analyzer knocks that out of the park.
Well, all right. First of all, apologies for the glitchy video there. I'm hopeful that when we send out some of this information, that you'll be able to watch that video a little bit more, a little bit better on your own devices. But as you could get the gist, and what you heard possibly on the video is that this new technology is not replacing the need for having biomed technicians on site and in our hospitals. It's actually, its purpose is to streamline processes and workflows to improve their productivity, their accuracy, efficiency, and job satisfaction. In both instances, with the individuals on the video, you heard their enthusiasm and their appreciation for the AI and automation tools that are available to them. And only more of that is coming to our industry. So you'll see more of that as it continues. It's truly helping our biomed technicians be more strategic rather than always reactive. So what does the future look like for our BMETs? At a high level, there will be BMET workflow efficiencies. We will move technicians to tech-enabled strategists. There must also be a human and AI collaboration component. And finally, there must be an ethical and regulatory check and balance as we continue to grow these technologies. For the BMET workflow efficiencies, we'll see a shift from reactive to proactive maintenance to allow us to focus on higher value tasks, as we've mentioned in previous slides. As we transition into being tech-enabled strategists, BMET will interpret new and more specific data to determine the best course of action for equipment services. This will allow them to manage their evolving and more advanced systems in the healthcare environment. For the human AI collaboration, BMETs will validate the data supporting AI-generated recommendations to determine the best course of action. You're not just going to take the feedback blindly, but you're going to take a look at that and see if it really makes sense for that equipment service. And then we'll develop strategies for securing AI-driven systems to protect patient safety as well. And finally, the ethical and regulatory considerations. BMET oversight is going to be essential to ensure HIPAA regulations are followed in AI workflows, and that human oversight is still needed to judge the quality of information produced and the correct course of action to implement. Again, as I stated earlier in my introduction, this isn't your grandpa's biomed department anymore. The changes truly are going to be exciting and are exciting for the BMETs that are coming into this industry. And it'll help them stay in lockstep with the rapidly evolving medical device industry. So this afternoon, we've covered a lot of content today, and I hope that it's not only educational for you, but it also makes you excited for what is to come. I hope that what we have shared today will encourage you and others in the industry to lean forward into AI and automation workflows. I hope that we have been able to help you discover how evolving AI and automation technologies present opportunities to improve BMET efficiency, productivity, accuracy, and satisfaction. I hope that now maybe you have a better understanding of how predictive work technology empowers BMETs to stop preventable failures and device downtime before it happens. And finally, I hope that we have been able to illuminate how the BMET role is evolving as we work alongside intelligent tech tools. At the end, though, if anything, I hope that this has given you an opportunity to see into the future a bit more clearly. Now, Lindsay and I would love to try to answer any questions that any of you might have as we end our presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Doug and Lindsay. Yes, we've got a few questions that have popped up. The first one is, what barriers do you see in adopting automation for routine tasks?
Yeah, I can take that one, Doug. So I'd say there's probably three main hurdles, right? Getting the technology, finding and accessing training for that technology, and getting your team on board, right? So the first is access to the right technology. A lot of systems, people are still working in legacy systems, right? They weren't designed to really support the automation in AI and the easy integration. So that'll be critical to ensuring the success of it. But as we bring that into some of our existing systems, we need to make sure that even when we have that technology available, that teams have time and training to be effective with those tools, right? Without that and without ongoing reinforcement, you kind of risk the tools being underutilized or misapplied. And the first is probably the most challenging, is getting the team on board, right? So adoption requires cultural change. So technicians might be concerned about, added complexity, that loss of control, or just how it impacts their role, right? So successful adoption really depends on clear communication, trust, and demonstrating through time, how that automation can take some of the burden off of their plate and give them more freedom to spend time doing what we really love is helping serve clinicians and have hands-on devices, right? So it doesn't replace BMET expertise, it supports it, right? And really making sure that we're taking it from that cultural change perspective. It's a great question.
Okay, so will this technology replace the need for on-site BMETs?
Yeah, I'll take that one because this one's close to my heart, and I'm a BMET at trade, as everybody has heard on the call. And I can unequivocally say that we do not see that any technology like AI or automation replacing the BMET role. Frankly, there's a requirement for the personal touch, number one. There's a requirement for us to turn the wrench or turn the screw or turn the pot or whatever it is. There's always going to be a need for the hands-on service. There's always going to be a need for the ability to take out a part and replace that part with physical hands to do so. So that absolutely, I don't think is a real concern. What I do think is it's going to change how our BMETs spend their time. It's going to reduce their routine administrative work that they have to do each and every day, all the manual data. I really love the voice to text function that will help populate the work orders. As I mentioned earlier, the worst part was always the documentation piece, and I think that's the part, if anything, biomed technicians are going to be excited about and really embrace that as a change that will be benefiting them. So no, it's not going to reduce or replace the need to have BMETs on site.
Okay, great. So how would these AI automation tools integrate with our existing system? That was a question from an attendee.
Yeah, probably another good one for me, Doug, on the integration side there. So, I mentioned like a lot of our systems might not have that integration just yet, but we will start to see that evolve, right? And bring those in and pop up in areas that BMETs are already doing their work, like our CMMS systems, right? That's definitely what we as TriMedics are trying to do, is make sure that we are adding it into the tools that we already have available, so that we're not spending time just trying to learn and work across multiple systems, right? So our goal is to help technicians get more done with less time and really remove that administrative burden. We do think that it will kind of help come into the existing systems that we have, and in addition to the day-to-day tasks. So not looking to change the workflow either, right? Really fold it in alongside what we're already doing, so that they can see that support come in where it really matters most for them, like what we talked about, faster access to service manuals, for instance, or device history, helping them automate parts identification and ordering of that, or create the smart work orders as well. And really focus on, how can we ensure that it's supporting them, not trying to take over what they're doing. So building it right into the same workflows that they have today.
Okay, another question that popped up is, what new BMET skills should we prioritize to take advantage of this new technology?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at this one. So as the healthcare industry and OEMs start to catch up with this new technology, there's going to be more opportunities for AI education, and it's going to become more prevalent and available for us. I would definitely recommend that they take advantage of those AI training opportunities. I would encourage, new BMETs or even older BMETs like myself to really start taking AI courses as it is available for them. I'll just give you a quick example. I mean, just about 2 months ago, I literally sat down on my couch in my living room and was going through Microsoft 365 Copilot video courses on YouTube myself, and I spent about 4.5 hours just watching all the YouTube videos, and then I started working on trying to learn workflows in Copilot. I know that doesn't completely translate to healthcare technology, but it just is an example of us needing to make sure that we're continuing to hone our skills and look for opportunities to learn about AI and what the capabilities truly are for our job performance.
Okay, this question kind of leads on from that. What does training look like for technicians at different levels?
Well, it's still early, and I would say that there's probably it probably depends on someone's current capabilities, quite frankly. But as an entry-level person, you might focus on just AI literacy, learning about it, trying to figure out how to trust it and develop safe usage practices and habits. I wouldn't go into immediately go into the coding piece of AI, if that makes sense. But from a mid-level biomed technician's perspective, maybe you start focusing on interpretation, optimization, cybersecurity awareness, and the like. And then as a senior tech, maybe focusing on oversight and the validation and system level thinking. Those are some very high level, opportunities for somebody to start looking into something like that. Yeah.
Okay, great. A question that's come in is, you shared a lot about your internal AI tools and workflows. Are there any third-party tools that can be leveraged by hospitals?
Lindsay, are you aware of anything right off the top?
There are a lot of third-party tools out there. So, we're built by biomed technicians, and so we continue to focus on how we can improve our daily work. There are a lot of other companies out there who are kind of taking that proactive stance as well, folding it into their clinical engineering programs. But for just healthcare systems at large, there are a lot of different options to look at as far as building in agentic workflow, so using an agent very similar to a conversational chatbot, the voice-to-text automation, anywhere that you are documenting notes and all of that, there are kind of third-party tools that can be integrated into some of your existing systems. I can't think of any specific names off the top of my head right now, but be happy to follow up with some more of those as well. But everyone is looking to quickly kind of fill that gap that we see. It is rapidly evolving in the way that we are bringing this new technology to light. And fun fact that the technology is evolving so quickly, it's helping us build the tools quicker on the back end as well. So you might have heard a term like vibe coding, using things like that to really accelerate the speed at which we can bring new products to life as well.
Yeah, and I'll just add that to be clear, we did not develop the test equipment automation aspect, because we're using the same test equipment in most cases that you are using out there in the field. We're just taking that data and putting it into our CMMS program. So the test equipment OEMs, or the test equipment folks that are manufacturing them, are the ones who are actually developing the capability of providing the data to your CMMS. So there is a possibility that you could somehow integrate those automation capabilities of your test equipment in some cases to be able to populate into your CMMS. I do believe there's probably some coding that has to go into that. That's not my area of expertise, to be clear. Maybe Lindsay's, but I will say that there is stuff out there that you may be able to incorporate into your workflows. Good question.
Perfect. Is there a foreseeable timeline for AI in the BMET field?
Imminent. I would say imminent. In fact, I would say what we've shared with you today is all real world, and we are using it now. So yeah, it's imminent.
Okay, so in your opinion, does all the AI advancement increase the risk of BMETs losing their jobs to IT specialists?
I can see why somebody would ask that question, to be clear, but no, I really no. Not to disparage any of the IT folks that may be on the call today, but they're not biomed technicians, and there is a unique skill set that is required for biomed technicians, and I think you all would agree with that. Now, can you train an IT person to be a BMET? Yes, absolutely, and we've done that here at TriMedics. But the skill set remains, the ability to use all of the test equipment that we use, and to use all of the skills that we've learned in our training courses throughout the years. Those are real necessities, and you have to have that type of skill set to be able to work on medical equipment without question. Now, you might have I think there's probably someone out there that is an IT person that's worked on maybe a patient monitoring system at some point, because mostly it's computers, to be clear. But I would say the great majority of need would be to have a biomed technician still continuing to service that equipment. Good question. I can understand why you would ask it.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we've nearly come to the end of our time. So thank you so much, Doug and Lindsay, for a really great and informative presentation. Now, if you'd like more information about today's presentation and sponsor, please visit trimedics.com. As promised, the answer to today's trivia question is Popeye. So congratulations to our winner, Sean Salmons in Ohio. Now, just a quick reminder, you can obtain your CE certificate by completing the post-webinar survey, which will be emailed 1 hour after the completion of today's webinar. You must complete the survey to receive your 1 CE credit, and you'll be able to download the certificate directly from your computer once the survey is submitted. If you have any questions, again, you can reach us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. If you've missed any of our past webinars, please visit webinarwednesday.live to view the whole archive. We'll be back next week with another webinar, so please visit webinarwednesday.live again for more details and complimentary registration. Thank you all once again for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.